Hello Overseers, last episode we restructured our research system and expanded onto the polluted island for unlimited glass. Now it's time to optimize our entire supply chain. We're setting up dedicated secondary trails to process materials, ensuring raw resources are efficiently transported from each island back to our main base. With scalable smelting and crafting loops in place, can we take our automation to the next level? Let's jump in and see. We invested the last 2 episodes in rebuilding our entire base, and here is where we are at now. So first we retiled our entire map, so we forced all our flower patches to spawn in the center, creating 3 distinct major trails. Our first major trail goes over here and becomes worker ants. Our second major trail goes over here and becomes iron worker ants. Our third one goes over here and becomes worker ants as well. We're not quite done here just because we're missing a little bit of screws and stuff like that, but we're working on it. Now, why is this better than what we had before? Well, it puts us in a really good position for expansion. So, for example, if I were now wanting to increase my gene production, for example, I can now very easily just toggle these numbers up to say 20 and 15, now that I got a bunch of extra ants in there. Or if I need more ants to become inventors, for example, I could very easily just up the number over here, and then we'd get more inventor ants. So I can very easily control the outcome of what I want by just tuning the numbers from the starting trail over here, which is fantastic, which is exactly the system that we want to happen. Not to mention we've rebuilt our inventor towers over here, so now we're getting a very consistent flow of inventor points 1 and 2, just generating in the background while we do stuff. And we're also just getting a bunch of genes and stuff like that. So, oh man, I really need to send a drone over here because it keeps dying. Do I have a fresh drone that won't die before it gets there? I sent like 3 drones over here and they just keep dying. Go over here, please. You got a minute. You got over a minute. Anyway, without that inefficiency, but we're going to continue building out our base now. And what are we going to do next, you ask? Well, it's high time we get our production online because we've put up a lot of temporary production sites up at the moment, but we really need to start getting our sort of permanent production up. So we're going to start off this episode with a couple of things. First of all, we can see we need more ants on this trail, so we can very easily just up that trail number. I'm going to up this to 15 ants on this trail. We're eventually going to need to saturate this trail for the colliders, but for now we need more ants because I'm thinking about sending a couple of drones this away to this side of the island to harvest the necessary materials. There's no concrete or copper on this island, so this island over here will be solely responsible for harvesting concrete and copper. So I'm going to set that up. You guys don't need to see me do that because you've seen it a billion times, so you don't need to see it again. I'm just going to pick a nice site somewhere on the island that has both concrete and copper, and then I'm going to set up the same thing we set up on the polluted isle, which is basically a self-sustaining system that has a bunch of ants. And also we've got too many ants on this island, so we might set up some ants to start collecting some of these mold things as well. So lots to do this episode. Let's get into it. I will come back when the polluted isle is set up. Alright, I believe all that's set up. So I've set up on the desert island. We're just going to mine out of this giant concrete block for a while because it's got 1,000 rubble. We can just send back the rubble to process as concrete. I guess it doesn't really matter. We've set up this part of it. We've still got to set up this part of it. If you're enjoying the video and you want to support Data Engineer Plays, don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to share them in the comment section. We've got our digging trail, we've got our we'll start from where our ants are coming in. So what we're doing is we're going to pull from this trail over here. We put extra ants on there now, so when they get old, they're going to come through here, and this timer gate is going to control after how many minutes we're going to send a new drone. We're going to set it to 5 to start with, so there's going to be a drone every 5 minutes. That'll control the lava that's going into our desert island. Now, I've done something very clever over here, which is when these ants get old, I'm sending them to a flight path over here, which I haven't fully set up yet, over here. And they're going to become our princess ant, basically. So hopefully we're going to get our drones over here turning into princess ants. And that should align with the inventor ants that are coming in here, and that should automate that process and put it on a pretty good timer. Now the drone's going to ferry over the lava. The lava is going to go sit in this dispenser, and then this lava storage is going to go over here, and then this is our current loop for mining this giant rubble. And I'm just got it mining some copper scrap. So it's your standard loop. We're getting hey, where's my ant gone? What the heck? An ant did spawn out of here, but it disappeared. What? Well, when the drone comes back, I'll get it to incubate another ant. I don't know where it went. Let me zoom out. Ah, it's gone over here for some reason. Go into this loop first. Oh, I'm an idiot. Sorry, this gate should not be there because that's going to be the very first priority gate. That's our last priority gate. I'm going to take that out this way. All right, cool. So our ant's going to come over here, incubate a lava, and they're going to slowly saturate all this. We've got our, let's just double check everything is working. We've got this dispenser, which is linked to the recycling pile. That's going to create new iron blocks, and then this one is going to smelt screws, so that should keep us screw positive when all that saturates. Then all of these ants, as they get old, will go into this thing, which is turning all our screws and our old regular ants into digger ants, and those digger ants are going to mine us some concrete blocks, or rubble I think it's called. And I've also got this trail over here just mining out some of this scrap pile, so we have more room to build. Eventually I get it onto this little one, and then we'll send them over here, etc, etc. But for now, that should get us this pile of rubble and this pile of copper. What do we need to do next? Well, we need to get them catapulted back across to our main island, right? So let's start sorting that out. We need a trail over here that's going to work the catapulter, and I want to keep this independent of the other thing. So make sure that we get the right amount of people onto here. So this is going to be a little bit challenging, because how am I going to control having less workers over here? It's going to have to be some sort of timer gate, right? So instead of just always grabbing a lava, but then how do I make sure that this will have a lava when it does go get it? Ooh, this is very, very difficult. You know what would be perfect over here? Ion workers. Ion workers would be the perfect use case for this setup over here, because I don't want to keep spawning new ones. I just want a fixed number of workers on here at all times. So I'm going to set up some ion workers over here, just temporarily. We're just going to turn some workers into ion workers. And then that means we need to probably start harvesting some energy orbs again. Do I want to bother harvesting energy orbs, or do I want to set it up from my main base so I don't have to worry about it? But there are energy orbs on this thing, so maybe I will just harvest the energy orbs here. Alright, so I'm going to send some worker ants over here to harvest the energy orbs, and then we're going to make ion workers. So I'm going to set that up. I'll be back when that's done. Alright, check it out. It's all set up now. Having a little bit of an issue keeping this trail alive for some reason. I suspect because I interrupted it to temporarily bring some iron over. But when this is up and running, it should run very similar to what we have on our polluted island, which never dies. See how there's always ants here? And it's always fine. Somehow the ants over here are always okay. It always seems to keep one ant here to hatch new larvae. I don't know why. I've done exactly the same thing over here. I don't know why the trail keeps dying, but we'll monitor it, make sure there's always an ant on this trail, because that's the one that keeps spawning new ants. So like, say an ant is gone now, let's just watch it. It's going to go over here, yeah, then it's going to saturate its own trail again. Yeah, I have no idea what the heck's going on. Oh, but then there's no larvae. Why is there no larvae? There's one larva. Oh, there it is now. I guess it's just too slow, that's all. But yes, we will watch this thing and let it do its thing for a little bit. And what I've set up over here, I've just retasked 3 of these guys to be launchers. So 3 is probably too many. We should probably cut this down to maybe 2, because I can see these are already backlogging each other. So maybe 2 is perfect. Let me get this one out, because I don't want to waste my green orbs if I don't have to. I guess you can just go do something until you die. I'm just getting them to make a few iron plates, because if I do need iron plates for whatever reason, get on this trail. If I do need iron plates for whatever reason, I want them to make it. So I've got 2 launches at the moment. One's just getting rid of the residual glass on this island, and it's pretty quick. It's already down to 86, and then once that's done, we'll get that to do rubble. They're just flinging the stuff back over here into these 2 stockpiles, so we should get a constant stream of stuff. That's our copper and our rubble sorted. So the next thing that we need to sort out is some sort of a manufacturing trail and probably fiber at some point as well, but we'll worry about that island at some other point. I don't know what I'm going to do for fiber. We might just end up with pod workers because we've already got the infrastructure for pod workers over here. And we just need to supply them with some pods or something like that, and then we should be sweet. What is going on with my gene cocoon? We are constantly short on a bunch of various ants. That's fine. We can fine tune that trail now that we've got plenty of extra ants. So if we're short on these ants, we can very easily just go, all right, instead of however many ants are on here, let's just increase that by 1. It's short because we are currently repurposing some of them to dig out this thing. But once that's done, then all the ants will become pod workers, and that should saturate that. We're also short on drones for some reason, which doesn't really make sense to me because that should be always in perfect balance. Are they just not making it over? Are they dying? Oh, I know why. Silly. It's all the dead drone corpses. I needed a bin somewhere before they, like, once they go out onto the Elder Trail, they need to chuck it into a bin because sometimes they've got stuff on them. So I'm just gonna add another bin here. I'm running out of iron on my main iron plate on my main island, so definitely got to be aware of that. But yeah, we got plenty of genes anyway. We don't need genes right now. We're still trying to optimize a lot of our island. Let's see if this thing is now up and running and operational. See, now there's ants on this trail. If I don't disturb this trail, I assume it will always be okay now, and there shouldn't be any situation where we suddenly run out of ants for whatever reason. And now the old ants will go over here and they will turn into... Wait, why are you not turning into stuff? Oh, I've got the light bulb thing on here again. No, I don't want you to become a light bulb. I want you to become... No. Pod worker empty. Screwed up. I don't want you to become a light bulb. I want you to become a small digger ant. I was trying to use this to make my light bulb ants before, but I screwed that up. That's fine. The pod worker empty can just go and die somewhere. It doesn't really matter. It's just one light bulb. Oh wait, it became a digger ant. What? It changed halfway through. What? What is going on? Anyway, that's good. So there's our digger ants, and there's all our pods. Now our energy pods keep respawning into different things. Okay, that's also something weird. We need to send one worker over there. I've already got a trail, kind of. Let's get a null trail up that way now. Oh, this stupid pile is so annoying. This ant is pretty old, but yeah, that's the trail that gets us our energy orbs to make these things. So we do need to make sure that is all right. That's what keeps these guys alive. So these guys are coming out of a cascade, so if they run out of energy, they'll go in and they should turn into a new worker. Now there is assigned stockpile is full. You're full of copper? Let's just change this to a large stockpile. And we'll just reassign this to a large stockpile. No point having a small stockpile there. We'll do the same thing with rubble in a bit. Alright, fantastic. So everything is prodding along. There looks like there's one spare worker on this and no spare... Yeah, I think maybe there's just not enough ants on this trail. Let me I can't shorten the trail either. That's fine. Should be okay. We'll just keep monitoring and make sure it's okay. Now, the next thing that we need to do is to start putting our work on our actual thing. Now that we've got all of the raw materials coming in, we need to put in all our work factories to make them into stuff, right? Now, before I do that, though, I think I want to fix this up first. And this might cause some problems in the short run, but it definitely needs to be fixed up. I basically want this trail to look exactly like this trail, so we need to flip all these buggers around and make that work properly. So that's going to be a bit of an annoying job, but I'm going to have to do it. So when that's done, I will come and I will talk about it. Alright, I think I've done it. There might be a slight disturbance in the force while everything resaturates, but it should be okay. Why have you just immediately grabbed an item and then run off with it? We have a bin here, right? Just in case this happens. We never did a bin check over here either. This is pretty dangerous. We've got to properly set up our gene cocoon today. We've been doing this temporary setup for so long now. And I'm running out of things to build trash cans on, so Anyway, we've got way too many genes now. We need well, way too many genes is not a problem. Once we start saturating everything, we're going to up the numbers on every single trail. So then we should be able to just make more gene points quicker. We've got so many gene points now. I don't even know what to do with them right now. So it's not my focus. I just want to get this operational, and we're going to get all our manufacturing operational now. So how do we get our manufacturing operational? Well, we've got these trails and we've got these manufacturing things, which I've done here, but we're going to do it slightly better. So we know exactly how many ants are on excess in each one of these trails by looking at the main trail. So for example, I know we've got a bunch of spare iron workers. So let's start with that. We're going to build the iron worker, I guess the factory for the iron workers up here somewhere or down here somewhere. We'll probably build it along here. So basically there's going to be another trail that goes out here, and then they're going to saturate for the iron workers base. So that should be okay. I'm just trying to see if they should be like a line or what. Let me figure it out, and when it's done, I will come talk about it. In the meantime, after all that rebuild, let's check if these ants are still alive. I really want these ants to be alive. Yes, they look like they're alive and thriving, although a little bit dangerous because there's no spare ants on this trail. So this might die, this little guy, but hopefully not. We've got plenty of this now, so we probably don't need any more ants doing that. And yeah, we got a good saturation of everything. All right, these copper is mined out at last, so we can start getting them to actually mine some copper. Let's just get this guy then. Get this thing out of the way. Alright, fantastic. We've got our new copper mining happening over here. So now we've got our concrete and our copper mining going. Copper mining is going to need to constantly change because these deposits are super tiny all the time, which is a little bit annoying. But we'll keep our eye out on it. Copper is not really heavily used. How's our glass catapulting going? We've got 4 glass left, so we're good to change this over to rubble very soon. We basically want this to be rubble next. 3... and 2 and 1. All the glass on this island is now gone. Goodbye, glass. And 2 worker ants on this trail is absolutely perfect. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to put our real thing in now, and then we're going to start storing rubble on this side of the world. So let's get a large stockpile going for rubble. Our existing rubble is somewhere. Let's get that assigned to rubble. And our existing rubble is over, that's concrete, over here. So we're going to delete the existing rubble, and then that's going to go to the large stockpile, and then we're going to keep a large stockpile of rubble over here somewhere. We can get rid of this glass, I think. Oh, I don't think so. We'll just keep this spare glass, and we'll assign this to that. Let's just make sure it's working before we leave and do other things. Yep, that's working. Fantastic. So now we have our 2 main materials from this island going, and it all should be automated and balanced and nice. I hope. It's got a couple of spare ants on that trail. That's what I like to see. And this guy's delivering more stuff. Fantastic. We're up to 220 ants. We need to get to 300 ants to unlock our next thing, but that would just naturally happen. We're also maintaining stage 12 at the moment, which is pretty crazy. So now we're going to restructure our workforce for our proper final work stuff. If that makes any sense. Terrible English. But yeah, like these guys that were temporarily making iron and stuff, we're going to create the permanent solution now, essentially. All right, I'll be back when that's all done. So here's my concept implemented partially, because I have to do a thump and I want to do that on camera. But basically, we've got our main trail over here which stores the ants, so we can very easily observe if we have extra workers or not. And if we do have extra workers, we're going to add onto this secondary trail some tasks for them to do. For example, smelting iron, creating screws, creating iron plates, making glass. So that's all going to go like that. We're going to set the secondary trails up to get workers. At the moment, I don't have enough workers, so that was a very easy fix. I just increased the number. Now this is up set to 20 and this is set to 13, and I set this up to 7, so we should be getting even more stuff going in there, which is fine because we've got so many genes happening. Anyway, the whole point was to do a thump because I'm running out of space for my genes, so we're going to do a thump, and we're going to keep setting this up slowly. as I'm just going to keep observing what trail has workers and stuff like that, and then we're just going to keep adding stuff to this. Over here as well, we've got to start setting up all the slingers and things. So we've got 100 screws at the moment, but that will soon change because I've doubled up my screw production now. So we should be getting tons and tons more screws. And I'm going to set up these colliders as well, and we're going to get a tertiary trail over here as well for workers over time. But for now, I've got my glass set up. I need my fiber set up again. So our fiber was over here. That was making light bulbs. Right, we need light bulbs. Definitely need light bulbs set up before fiber. So the way we do the double setup is like this. So these just go on the end here. We can put them in the back like this. I'll show you how I set up one of these. I've changed the way this works. So for a double setup, it's actually pretty straightforward. And then when they need to be expanded, I'll expand upon them. So I just set up a dispenser in the middle, and then we set up a little trail like this from the dispenser to this thing. So we might need to move the dispenser back one or move these down one. Then we set up a hauling trail from here to here to here to here. So that dispenses. And then we do the same thing over here, down here, there, and there. And then we use slingers. We use our slingers to sling the material once they're done into the stockpile. So into this light bulb stockpile, we will sling it. I'll just put that there. It's not the best setup. Everything's a little bit not uniform, but it's fine. And now that we're making a lot more stuff for the slingers, we should be able to very easily set up the slingers. So we'll set up a slinger there and a slinger there, and we'll link them to that. This is how I'm setting up the multi-item workshops now. So it's just slightly easier than before. And then we just simply set up a counter gate from here. So a counter gate from here down to each one of these trails. And then we set up the old gates back out. And then the old gate can just go here, and this one can go up and across there. So yeah, this is how we're setting things up now. Hopefully this will work out for us. We need more ants on every single trail. This trail is very undersaturated at the moment, but that was probably because of the teething process I had a little earlier, I think. Now it should be okay with more ants coming out. We probably need to up our ants as well, because we don't have enough ants at the moment. Once I get all the slingers in for these, I think we're going to have very few ants working, because we've got all these ants working the colliders. And that's all going to come in handy very, very soon. Our gene production just finished, and we've got plenty of new ants coming over here, which is great. We've got lots of workers, lots of drones, lots of everything. Fantastic. How's our iron workers? We've still got a bunch of spare ones, like 4 spare ones, even though the trail is full now. So I'm going to put some more work for them to do. I guess they can do fabric. So fabric is another multi-thing building, so I might just get 2 fabric. I think 1 fabric maker has been more than sufficient to keep up with demand. So let's not overcomplicate things. Let's just bring a fabric maker over here. See how easy it is to now set up on these trails? We just bring it over, and then we can just set up a trail over here somewhere. Since this is small, we might put it onto the other side, and we can decide which side we put things on. Like we can put the fabric maker here, for example. Or set it up slightly better and make it more space saving. Space is at a premium now. All we have to do is set up a little hauling trail like this for fabric. It's a simple 1 object thing. Then we just need to set up a gate that goes in like that. And then we just need to set up an old gate that takes them back out after they've stored their thing. So I'll do it from here, and then off into the Elder Trail you go. Now the only question I have is, these far ones, are they even making it to the gene cocoon that's clear across the world? I'm not too sure. We'll have to observe and find out. But there's our fabric going again. So we've got most of our materials. Now we can set up some stuff for copper. Why has all of these guys now? Why are all of these empty now? Oh no, I'm losing my queen. I'm gonna have to just temporarily bump my queen's food because it's not good at the moment. Don't want to lose my stage 12 because I need all this larvae at the moment, and for some reason it's just not saturating properly. But we can just temporarily give it some food from here, and we'll just observe. We don't want to go too far up the stages. But this is all saturated now, so they should go down here, eventually saturating this side. I don't know why I've lost saturation on all of these. What happened? That's super weird, because I had enough ants over here before. We've got 20 ants on this trail. I think we just need to let it run for a bit. I think I lost some of my ants when I was doing this reshuffle. We did say that potentially might happen, so I'm just going to let it run for a bit. I see what happened. So when I set this up with the extra 6 workers out of there, I set it up on here, which means as soon as they come into the trail, they're going to saturate the secondary trail first. That's not the behavior we want right now. We want them to saturate all of these colliders first on this trail, because this collider set is feeding the queen. So we definitely want to make sure all of these are continuously producing. So it's going to take a while for all of these to saturate again, and when that's all done, I will come and talk about it, and I will continuously add new manufacturing processes back here as we need them. After letting my game run for a little bit, I found this trail is always undersaturated for some reason, and since it's our main feeding trail, we've got to make sure that these colliders are always working full time by making sure that all of these ants are, like, there's extra ants on this trail basically. And over on this side, I've just added a few more basic processing things for things like copper wire and making some concrete, so we can do advanced processing. So what I've done is redirected the ants from this trail, which are doing nothing at the moment, to do that, and then the elder trail is just going back to here. It's really easy to repurpose this trail now, because all you have to do is get the input trail and the output trail for the ants, so they very easily can redirect it from one main trail to another. This system is really good. I find it's very easily scalable. Now that I have 160 screws, which is exactly how much I need, I can make the slingers on this side to make these energy orbs. Not that I have any use for the energy orbs at the moment, but might as well make them, give the ants something to do, right? But then I'm going to run out of ants on this trail. Fantastic. Actually, am I literally just not having enough ants? Well, if that's the case, then let's just up the level. Let's just maintain stage 13, and we can just do that by feeding it this energy orb instead, or this one basically. We'll drain out this, and maybe we should have an extra stockpile of energy orbs here. We'll drain out this stockpile of energy orbs, and that should get us to stage 13 to get us some excess ants, and then we'll put more ants on every single trail. More ants, better, right? Because then more genes, more everything. We've got 10 gene points as well, so we are in a really good place for expansion. I just want to stabilize my current system, so the next dealios is to get these colliders going. I don't know why I need so many energy orbs, but we have infinite energy orbs basically once I do this section. All right, so I'm going to set this up and I'll be back when it's done. Alright, all my stuff is in now, so this trail should be working. I've had to add a 5th incubator in here to keep up with the workload. As we can see, there's not enough ants on this trail, so we're going to have to up the ants on this trail, which is coming from here. Currently there's 15 already. Alright, well, we've got 5 spare ants, so I guess we're upping that to 20. And yeah, we've now reached stage 13, so we get plenty of larvae. This is still too many larvae for this to handle, so we might need to split this into 2 sets of 3 to get this going a little bit faster. I also want to test if putting a second ant on this one will help out as well. I've also just replaced this with a smart dispenser. I don't know why I didn't do this earlier, because I keep changing my iron piles around. Oh, I've had the smart dispenser unlocked for ages. I never used it. But yes, we're using a smart dispenser now. We're also running out of LED light bulbs, so we've got to close that loop at some point soon, or we're going to run out of... Oh god, we've got so many inventor points. We've got so many genes. We need to go do a thump again. We've got too many genes now. But these are all good problems to be having, guys. They're all great problems to be having. So we've got our genes, and we've got to close the loop on our fiber now, because our fiber is, yeah, we're not doing anything with the fiber. So we're going to go pull some pod workers onto this side of the world, and we're going to use pod workers to start cutting these trees, and we're going to, yeah, close the loop on fiber basically. So I'm going to quickly do that before we run out of fiber. We've only got 1 fiber stockpile left, so we better get cracking on that. How many ants do we reckon we need on this side of the world to do that? I'm thinking maybe 3, 4 pod workers will be more than enough. We'll just do 3 pod workers. I think that'll be more than enough to get all the fiber across. So I don't have any spare pod workers, but once this guy comes out, we will send them over. I know these guys are lacking pod workers, but that's fine. Send him to the other side of the world. Off you go, via the bridge. And we'll send this guy as well. But everything here is looking good now. You can be a pod worker 1. I don't want pod worker 2s. I think we'll just start out with 2 pod workers. I think 2 pod workers cutting stuff is going to be more than enough. We're maintaining stage 13 pretty well now, so that's a good thing. With 35 larvae, it's looking pretty good. We've got too much lava for 1 storage thingy. We might start putting larvae on a 2nd storage thingy, if you need to. I don't know, like this will just be something for me to visualize, like if I've got too much lava storage or what's going on. But yes, we've got our pod worker on this side of the world now. It's time to go set him up somewhere. So I'm going to go set up a plant cutting route somewhere over here probably and get rid of some of these things. There's like 800 fiber there. That'll keep him busy for a while. All right, here comes our little pod worker. It's arrived. We'll get him on this plant cutting trail. So we've set up a plant cutting trail, a cast gate. So if it becomes a regular pod worker, it's going to come out of the cast gate and then it's going to go into this assembler to become refreshed. And when you are nice and refreshed, you will go back into here and continue cutting my plants. Nice tight little loop. Don't need any of this crap anymore. Now we've assigned a big stockpile to this stuff, so we don't need to bring it back. Now this thing is just bringing back nothing. We'll assign that target to this one now, so it'll bring back that fiber. We don't need to bring back the resin anymore because we know how to make resin. And this pod worker is waiting for materials. So what I've done on this side of the world is, wait, this dispenser is not linked. There we go. That'll get my 2nd pod worker, and 2 pod workers should be more than enough to cut these plants. Now we've closed the loop on fiber. So over here, we've just slightly modified this trail a bit using a stockpile gate to make sure if the stockpile is less than 10 energy orbs, the drone's going to come out and it's going to go grab an energy orb before it goes back home. So I need to redirect this line as well to go this way so that they can go and grab more energy orbs. Yeah, I think that should work out pretty nicely for us. And then that will bring our nice little stockpile of these fibers back. Except if we've got too much fiber in here, then they're not going to bring energy orbs to the other side of the world. If we have too much fiber. That could potentially be a problem. I mean, we can just change this to a large stockpile for now, but eventually that's going to be also a problem. So we might go store the fiber, right? Store the fiber, and then if there's too much fiber, just chuck it in a trash can. We've got infinite fiber anyway, just to close this loop and make sure it's always working. There we go. Now I've got too much fiber, it's just going to trash all that fiber. Or we can do a stockpile gate over here and not bring fiber if we don't need fiber. That's probably a better way to do it. Let me set that up. What am I doing? This is silly. I'm just like throwing away perfectly good fiber. If it's full of fiber, then we're not going to grab any more fiber. So here, we're going to move that out of the way. When they come back here, they're not always going to grab a fiber. They're only sometimes going to grab a fiber. So we need a stockpile gate that goes over here and then a hauling trail to go back. And then we're going to go over here. Now, if this thing is less than 150, then you grab fiber. Otherwise, don't bother grabbing fiber. Just loop the energy orbs. Basically, yeah, see, none of them are going to the stockpile gate because it's full, and only when we need fiber we're going to get fiber. So that closes the loop on that one. Let's go check back in on our digger ants over here, see if this trail's all good. It's looking precariously empty at the moment. Why? Oh yeah, it's looking precariously empty, this trail. I got too much work for these guys to do and not enough workers doing it. It's not the digger ants that are a problem. It's the normal ants. I'd really like a small surplus of normal ants. It's just this guy's just not bringing things fast enough. It's like perfectly imbalanced, which is a little bit dangerous. Like it won't take much for this ant just to have some bad timing die and then not have another ant ready to take its place. What can I do about that? I'm not really sure. We'll just keep a close eye on that. Let's keep a close eye on everything that we're doing right now. So this trail over here is not good enough at the moment. There's not enough ants saturating everything. The easy way is just to cut it down a little bit. Do we have excess ants yet? No. So we're pretty much capped at our population, and I'm not sure why, because we've got so much extra lava. So we might need to split the loop in half, because it's too much, I think. We're not incubating fast enough. We probably need 2 loops of 6. But at the moment, we've pretty much stabilized everything, and we've got our work trail happening. So we're pretty much ready to press forward. We've got a couple more items to close out everything. So we've got to probably make our LEDs and make some resistors and diodes and resin, all the little small stuff. But we need to increase our population first. We need to fix our population. So once I've done that, I'll come and talk about it. Alright guys, now we're really cooking with fire. I think I've gone too overboard. I split this trail into 8 incubators now. So we've got 4 on this side, 4 on this side. So this side's obviously handling this side's trail. This side's handling this side's trail. And we've got tons of extra ants. So now we can add some more ants onto each of these trails to get them to function properly, because we're going to need to, well, actually we don't need more ants on this trail. Oh man, we got so many ants. What's happening? There's too many ants. There's not enough iron workers. We need more iron workers. All right, fine. We'll get more iron workers. We'll get that up to like, say, 15. And that's on 20. That's on 20. So we should get enough ants on this trail. Let's up this to 25 then, and get even more ants on this trail. I don't know what we're going to do with all these energy orbs, but we have a good surplus. We're nearly at 300 ants, actually. That's pretty crazy. Without even trying. All our systems are working fine. So I think we've put ourselves in a really good spot for expansion. I'm going to tie off the rest of this episode by now putting in the remainder of all our buildings that we need to make. So for example, we've got plenty more iron worker ants now. So we can put a couple more things for them to do. I dropped off the iron maker because I feel like we're not getting a good surplus of iron at the moment, but we can always add more iron creation. We're running out of iron on the map as well, so we've got to close the loop on iron as well. At the moment, we've got our digger ants over here digging away. That's fine. We'll end up probably bringing iron from somewhere else, like here, for example, or from this island. Let's check on our polluted island, make sure everything's fine. It looks fine to me. Oh, finally, these guys have finished digging out the glass here. Nice. So we've created a smoother pathway through here, which is fantastic. This assigned stockpile is full anyway, which is fine. But we want more glass being mined. So let's set up a new trail over here. We probably want to mine out this thing at some point, but let's just mine out this thing to just create some more room. Alright, there's our new trail. So they're going to start working on this glass pile, and we've got plenty of glass, plenty of glass. This place is all stable, which is great. Now we've got too many. Oh, look at our top-down view. We can very easily see which ants we have too many of. Yeah, we have too many workers, not enough iron workers, not enough drones. Okay, that's fine. We can increase our drones. So it was on 7 before. Let's up that to 10. We got plenty of ants now. Too many ants. Oh, we just hit population 300, so let's just quickly go unlock the 300 thing before we lose it. So that goes up to the next one, charging up. Have simultaneously 100 ants charged by beacons, a lighthouse, a tall pole that emits a bright light, guiding nearby flying drones during the light is produced through a toxic chemical reaction. I don't know what that is. That seems a little bit too much. Charging up, have 100 ants charged by beacons. That's a cool thing that we should probably try to do. That means we need to get our beacon setup done at some point, but that's not something we're going to do this episode. We're not focused on progression. We've got too many ants now. I need to cut down my ants a little bit, so I'm just going to remove one thing out of each one. So I'm going to take this one out for now. 4 was a little bit too much, so I'm just going to take away 1 on each side, because we got way too many ants now. And well, it's a good problem to have. I'm sure we'll need them at some point, but for now I don't want to overload all my trails. We can start adding some of our final production stuff, and then we'll close off this episode. We'll add in things for our diodes, our casings, and our resin, all that extra stuff that we need. So once that's done, I will come back and talk about it. You've seen all this done before. I'll do one at a time, and then we'll go from there. Alright, I've reworked all my trails now. So here, since we have about 6 ants required to do all the glass work, we've just taken it back to this trail because I noticed I had about 6 ants free on this trail. So that trail is going to be going to do just glass and light bulbs. Then on this trail, we're doing all our advanced processing since I've got like a billion spare ants here now. So we've left plenty of room here to do all the advanced processing over time. Right now, we've just set it up for resin, one for diode. We've set up a space for the resistor. I'm not going to make it yet just in case I don't have extra casing. And of course, we have set up for our LEDs. So this is the new setup for the LED factory. I thought I'd talk about it since we're doing a proper setup this time. We've done all our testing in our previous episode. So the factory goes in the center, a big loop goes around. We've got our main dispenser that takes it from all the main storages. And then in the case that any one runs out and it needs to dump the item, if it goes past the place it's meant to drop off, it's going to dump into this stockpile, which links to a secondary dispenser. That way it won't just take items out of my correct stockpile and put it in an incorrect stockpile, if that makes sense. So it'll always take out from the backup stockpiles first. We'll call them fallback stockpiles. These are like error catching stockpiles, right? The only time these will ever fill up is if one of these three materials runs dry and then it can't complete the loop and make a light bulb. Then it will just keep grabbing an item from here, putting it into this stockpile and rinse and repeating. And if you don't have this fallback secondary dispenser over here, what it'll do is it'll take all your items out of your main stockpile and basically just put it into this stockpile, which you don't want it to do. So that will be what that second one is for. And I think this is a good fallback factory thing. It's a bit annoying to set up, but at least it'll work. And now we're making light bulbs. I don't know how any of my materials are going to react now to this whole new setup. So we're going to have to just wait and see. But yes, we have pretty much done all of our material processing now. We've closed the loop on everything. We've got glass coming from here, fiber coming from here, our concrete and our copper coming from here. Honestly, the only thing we haven't truly closed the loop on is scrap iron of all things, because the scrap iron here is not being harvested fast enough. So that's the hilarious thing. But we will harvest out the rest of the scrap iron from this island, and then once all the scrap iron on this island is gone, we will start looking at doing something else. I don't know where I'm gonna get how I'm gonna get the digger ants over there. I might have to use like a catapult to throw them over there to grab these two up the top, but we'll work on that when the time comes. I think we've done plenty for this episode. Our base is looking fantastic. We've got a good surplus of little worker ants over here, which is great. And yeah, everything's going great, I reckon. We're well within the 315 range. Now we're in stage 13, but the thing is we've got plenty of room for expansion. If we want any of these processes to happen faster, might just do a thump before we end the episode. But if we want any of these processes to happen faster, all we now have to do is increase the ants on here. We can increase that to 30 and increase that to like 25. Oh, we got an achievement. Fly out 50 genes. Very good. And yeah, next episode, we're going to start working on progression. So we're going to have to do this ants charged by beacons thing, which is fine because we got so much excess energy. We can definitely get a bunch of beacons going and get things going even faster. I know exactly which ants I want to charge up by beacons. Probably put beacons like along here, maybe like along here. I don't know where I can get 100 ants charged up by beacons at the same time though. I don't even know where 100 ants are. Probably along these trails. We might have to like pull the old trail out one and then we can shove beacons in the middle of here. I don't know how it's going to work, but we'll have to figure it out because that is our next step before getting the battery worker ant, which is our next big progression point. We've got to progress this way and start collecting mold blobs, which is fine because we've got plenty of extra larvae here. As we can see, both the larvae storages are full, which means we can easily expand operations on these islands simply by increasing the timer of that. If I double the drones moving stuff across, then that will double the amount of ants on these trails. I don't really think I need it at the moment because I've got plenty of extra ants. So we'll start collecting mold blubber next episode. Plenty of fun stuff happening. Well, actually, the mold blubber, now I think about it, will probably kill all my digger ants. So we will have to do something about that until we get hazard ants. But yes, we are going very well so far, and I'm pretty happy with our progress. We have put ourselves in a fantastic position to progress the game forward. We've collected an extra, like, look how many research points we have. Our research points is going fantastic. We can always increase our level 2 research ants if we need to, but we've got plenty of points at the moment. We've got infinite energy. Look how much energy we have. We just got too much energy if that's ever a problem for anyone. That means we can very easily up our queen's level whenever we want as well. Yeah, we're in a great position to sort of progress and push towards the end of the game now. Look at our crazy ant colony of 318 ants. Amazing. All right, well, we'll leave it at that for this episode. If you don't want to miss out on what's coming next, don't forget to like and sub, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.